Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking, wait, am I the crazy one? Did that really happen? Or did I just imagine the whole thing? You replay the situation in your head 100 times. You know what you saw. You know what you heard. You know what you felt. But somehow, someone convinced you that you were wrong, or dramatic, or misremembering, or too emotional. That, my friend, is gaslighting. And today we're breaking down why gaslighting works so frighteningly well, not because you're weak, but because gaslighting attacks the strongest parts of you: your memory, your trust, your empathy, and your confidence. Let's get into it. Here's how gaslighting works. Number 1, gaslighting works because it targets your self-doubt. Everyone, no matter how smart or confident, has moments where they wonder if they misunderstood something. Gaslighters exploit this natural uncertainty. They say things like, "That never happened," "You're remembering it wrong," "You're overthinking," "You're too sensitive," "You're imagining things." And because you're reasonable, your brain actually pauses and thinks, wait, am I? Gaslighting doesn't work by overpowering you. It works by making you question yourself. Number 2, gaslighting works because it happens gradually, not all at once. No one gaslights you in the first 5 minutes of knowing you. It starts small. A comment here, a denial there, a twist in the story, a little inconsistency. You brush it off at first. Then slowly, the confusion builds. And before you know it, you're doubting your reality. Gaslighting is psychological erosion. A tiny drip of manipulation over time creates a canyon in your confidence. Number 3, gaslighting works because the gaslighter acts confident. One thing about gaslighters, they say lies with IMAX-level confidence. You say, "I remember you clearly said that." They respond instantly, "No, I didn't. You're wrong." No hesitation, no guilt, no uncertainty. And your brain, being honest and emotionally intelligent, thinks, why would someone be so confident if they're lying? But that's the trick. Your integrity gets defeated by their performance. Number 4, gaslighting works because it uses your empathy against you. Manipulators choose emotionally aware people for a reason, because empathetic people ask themselves, did I hurt them? Consider other perspectives, take responsibility, try to understand, try to avoid conflict. Gaslighters twist your empathy into self-blame. You're hurting me with your accusations. You always assume the worst. Suddenly, you feel guilty for bringing up their behavior. The conversation shifts from what they did to how mean you are for questioning them. It's emotional jujitsu. Number 5, gaslighting works because the truth becomes exhausting, and lies are simpler. When someone constantly denies reality, instead of arguing every time, you start letting things go. You think, I don't want to fight. Maybe it's not worth bringing up. It's too tiring to explain again. And that's exactly how gaslighting wins. Manipulation thrives where exhaustion lives. When your brain is tired, you stop trusting your memory. You start trusting their version instead, because it's easier. Number 6, gaslighting works because it isolates you from other perspectives. When someone gaslights you, they often also push you away from supportive people, discourage you from sharing details, make you feel embarrassed to talk about issues, claim others won't understand, imply others are against them. Why? Because as long as you are confused, they stay in control. But the moment you talk to someone else, you hear, "No, that's not normal. You're not imagining that. That isn't your fault." Gaslighting only thrives in silence and isolation. Number 7. Gaslighting works because it mixes kindness with manipulation. This is one of the most dangerous parts. A gaslighter isn't toxic 100% of the time. They're also sweet, apologetic, affectionate, charming, thoughtful. These warm moments make you second guess the cold ones. You think, they can't be that bad. Maybe I am overreacting. Maybe they just had a bad day. The manipulation becomes believable because it's surrounded by love bombing, affection, or charm. This emotional push-pull trains your brain to tolerate confusion as part of the relationship. Number 8. Gaslighting works because humans want resolution, not chaos. You want peace. You want clarity. You want things to make sense. Gaslighters want the opposite. When your brain tries to make sense of their behavior, you end up bending reality to maintain emotional stability. Instead of thinking, "They're lying," you think, "Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe they're right." Your mind chooses the explanation that creates the least emotional chaos, even if it's the wrong explanation. Number 9. Gaslighting works because it makes you emotionally addicted to their approval. Once someone destroys your trust in yourself, guess who becomes the only person who can reassure you? The gaslighter. You start relying on them to tell you what happened, what's real, what's appropriate, what's fair, what's your fault, what's not your fault. Gaslighting doesn't just distort your perception, it restructures your emotional dependence. That's why leaving a gaslighter feels like detox. Your brain has to relearn how to trust itself. Number 10. Gaslighting works because it attacks your identity, not just your memory. Over time, it's not just "you're wrong," it becomes "you're dramatic, you're crazy, you're unstable, you're insecure, you're overreacting, you're imagining things." These aren't attacks on events, they're attacks on you. Once you internalize these labels, the gaslighter no longer needs to manipulate you. You start gaslighting yourself. And that is exactly why it's so effective. It rewires your self-perception. So why does gaslighting work? Because it confuses your mind, it drains your energy, it hijacks your empathy, it destabilizes your confidence, it isolates your perspective, it reshapes your reality, it makes you doubt your truth, it builds dependence, and it breaks you down slowly. Gaslighting works not because you're weak, but because you're human, empathetic, thoughtful, reflective, and willing to understand. Those qualities make you beautiful. Gaslighting attempts to turn them into vulnerabilities. But here's the empowering part. Once you understand the mechanics behind gaslighting, it loses its power. Your clarity returns, your confidence rebuilds, your inner voice becomes louder than their lies. And someone who once controlled your reality becomes someone who can't even control